Hello and welcome to Almost 30 Podcast.
Hi, everybody. It's Linz and Krista, your podcast best friends. And we're so glad you are here. If you're new, welcome. We have over 500 episodes, no pressure, but we put new ones out every single week. And if you're an OG, thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
You got homework if you're new, baby. Don't go too far back, though. It gets crazy.
Yeah, it gets a little
wonky, gets a little
wild.
Crazy. Some are better than others. It's all good. Life is the journey. We learn as we go. We've been having so much fun in this life and career as podcasters. It's been such a joy and a delight to learn every single week and bring, just insightful, deep, funny, fun, interesting conversations to you.
Yeah, this podcast is the product of Krista and I truly never planning to do a podcast, but just following this feeling we had when we met and this feeling that we had in our conversations as new friends, and also going through our Saturn return, which is in your late 20s, and that strong feeling that we weren't alone. So we've met thousands of you out there that have gone through this transition, that are going through it, that have made it through and are now just feeling really, really good on the other side. Not only thanks to Almost 30, but thanks to just your own trust in yourself through the process. So we proud of
y'all. And today we're going to be talking about love and astrology, which is a conversation that so many of you enjoy here at Almost 30. And I don't think we've ever actually zeroed in on love and astrology. We've talked about north nodes, astrocartography, your natal chart. We've talked about so many different aspects, the elements, but we've never talked about love. So I think this is going to be a really good one. And I know that so many of us, when we are dating or in the dating world, we look up people's charts immediately. So this will be helpful for you because you can understand basically by identifying your chart and their chart what your super chart is, or your supercouple chart is, which is the blending of your charts together.
Yeah, so this is a new system created by sisters, the AstroTwins, Ophira and Tali. And it's really fascinating because I kind of went into it like, okay, they're going to tell me that a Gemini can't be with an Aries, and just kind of have all of these like rules and, points to kind of navigate this. But really, this is about optimizing a relationship with any two zodiac signs and helping you navigate the challenges, helping you navigate different seasons you have in your relationship, which they have 4 different seasons that relationships can go through, how to keep that relationship really like thriving and growing rather than stagnant and just kind of surface. So I really loved this conversation. They are OGs, they are experts, and you're going to learn a lot.
Yeah, I love the idea of creating a super couple chart because I do think it would be helpful, especially to look at it from this perspective rather than just comparing them kind of willy-nilly and comparing them from the basic sun signs. I think a lot of people do that. And I was telling you that I pulled up like an ex-boyfriend from forever ago's chart, just like kind of noodling on my exes and what their similarities were, like what their differences were, what I liked about our relationship, what I would have changed. And if I would have known this man was a triple Pisces, the tender care that I would have given this individual is so crazy. Wow. But finding that out, I look at him totally differently because I'm like, he was always very sweet. And I'm like, wow, you just had so much emotion and feeling, almost more than me. But it was really beautiful because as a Pisces myself and someone that is very tender, we did have that in common, like that very, like that softness and sweetness. But I just think about how that would have helped me so much in our relationship.
Oh my God. I mean,
I wouldn't have cheated on him. Just kidding.
In this episode, they're going to talk about our super couple chart.
Okay, cool.
Which is cool. So you'll learn all about that.
The OG super couple, pretty much.
The OG. I do remember, because I'm not remembering right now, because we did this a couple months ago, our chart sign as a super couple. Sean and I are a Sagittarius as a couple.
That surprises me.
Kind of. I feel like, yeah, it's like as a couple though, I feel like there is that kind of like adventurous wanderer in us as a couple, but individually, it's mostly him. But yeah, I'm excited for you guys to listen, because a lot of times when Krista and I are read on the show, which has happened many a times, a lot of you relate to either one of us or both of us, maybe in your friendships or just individually. And so we hope you'll take something away from that as well.
Yeah, you can see us as archetypes and kind of tap into either archetype whenever you want. Take what you want, leave the rest. We have another conversation with the AstroTwins talking about astrology as well that I did, which was so much fun. I did it when I was in New York. And if you want to learn about astrology more, you can just search Astrology Almost 30. We probably have like 15 to 20 episodes with amazing people like Chani Nicholas, Spirit Daughter, Natalia Benson, some of the greats.
And we also talk about, at the end, the second half of 2023. So you'll get that little forecast for you. But the book is Supercouple. It's a beautiful book. I love it so much. It's nice and thick. Because these are secrets for a sexy, soulful, and satisfying relationship by the AstroTwins.
So I'll be doing Supercouple for all the people I'm going to be dating.
Stay
I'll
tuned.
be supercoupling all my potential mates. Okay, well, enjoy this one. And if you want more from Almost 30, we have courses and programs that we really love. So if you're a podcaster and you want to launch, grow, or monetize a show, we got you. We learned by trial and error. We've learned by being in this biz for a long time and by making it successful. So you can go to Podcast Pro for that at almost30.com. I also have my signature program, which is the Life Edit, which helps you align to your highest timeline by taking action every single day to edit all areas of your life. And then Lindsay has Sacredness of Being Single, which is her signature program about her single season. So all of those courses can be found at almost30.com. We also have Morning Microdose, which is our baby. It is the hits of Almost 30. So it is that 5 to 10 minutes you can tune into every single morning to get inspired, to get insights, to get conversation topics going, and just get in flow.
All right, y'all. Enjoy this one, and we will see you on the other side.
We love ya. Bye.
Okay, I'm calling all of you sweet, sweet souls out there who feel a little different, who geek out on both the more spiritual, the sciencey stuff, things like quantum physics and human design and astrology and different holistic wellness hacks and all things guided and meant to make you feel better, make you feel empowered and confident and really on your path. Well, you do not have to look any further. We have the place, the Almost 30 membership. You'll be surrounded by curious, compassionate, like-hearted people who are just as excited about their personal growth as you are and are committed to it and are really loving the journey because they have the community to lean on, because they have resources within the Almost 30 membership. It's such a special place, the place where Krista and I go to really get deep, 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 deep with y'all and intimate, and it's so much fun. Every single month we have exclusive live workshops with thought leaders and experts. I mean, these are super transformative. You're going to get your money's worth in those workshops alone. We also have live hangs with me and Krista, where we go into a particular teaching or topic that is on our heart and really bring you into group discussion. It's so much fun. We also have free access to our live in-person events that we're having in different cities. We'll do monthly giveaways, and it's just the best place ever. We also have a monthly downloadable that you'll get. It's like your guide. So it's an anchor for you in your month. We have a theme every single month. You'll be given resources and guidance on the theme, help you to just really ground in and focus your work for the month. You'll also get Camp Almost 30 recordings. I know y'all love Camp Almost 30. All the recordings live in the membership portal. So if you are in, I highly encourage you to check out almost30.com/membership. We have 3 different experiences in the membership. We have the Amethyst membership, which is really allowing you to do this at your own pace. You will have access to all pre-recorded workshops with our favorite healers and guides, and you'll get the monthly membership guide. So it's really kind of like on your own journey, but we will be supporting you with those resources. And then our most popular is the Citrine membership. So you will get monthly workshops, you'll get the live hangs, all the things that I told you about, and really get to be with us live, which is so much fun. And then we have our Clear Quartz. Clear Quartz The only difference between that and the Citrine membership is the fact that you get a 90-minute coaching call with either Krista or myself every single month. And this is a way for us to really hold each other accountable, really go deep and guide you and coach you in various areas of your life. You also get 50% off signature courses, which is major, like the Law of One, Life Edit, Sacredness of Being Single, Podcast Pro. So again, almost30.com/membership. If you are feeling called, just check it out. Check it out. And I can't wait to see you in there. So I am packing my bags for Austin. Krista and I are going to be doing a bunch of interviews, and I am making sure to pack what will make me feel as clear, as healthy, and energized as possible. And my number one is always athletic greens. So I make sure to bring my athletic greens travel packs with me anytime I am on a trip. This is so essential, not only for plane travel, which number one tip when you travel on a plane, keeps you hydrated, really keeps you feeling just really good in your body. Sometimes flying makes me feel so gross, but this ensures that I feel great. And it also keeps me regular. The gut health factor of athletic greens is real. It's also great for immune system support. But I make sure to have these with me because on the road, I really never know if I'm going to get all the nutrients I need in a day. And so athletic greens is great because it's going to fill the nutritional gaps. It has 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food sourced ingredients of the highest quality. Major benefits, like I said, gut support, mood support, boosted energy. Even like you'll see differences in your skin, hair, and nails. My nails grow like freaking weeds. So does my hair. My skin looks great. I'm just so thankful. I've been taking AG1 for years, and I've gotten family and friends on the AG1 train as well, and they're also loving it. And what's great is I get it every single month, so I don't have to worry about running out and then falling off the bandwagon. I just know that I'm going to have this part of my routine locked every single day. So I'm excited for you to try. Trust me, an investment in your health is one that you will never, ever, ever regret, so that you don't have to invest in the things to fix yourself later. So trust me, if you're looking for an easier way to take supplements, maybe if you're looking to fill your nutritional gaps, Athletic Greens is it. And they are giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs. Those travel packs I bring with me everywhere. So they're going to give that to you with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/almost30. That's athleticgreens.com/almost30. Check it out.
I'm so excited to be here with you both. God, we are. A long time coming for me. Krista has already sat down with one of you, but it was really important for me because Krista got a taste. I was like, God damn it. Like, I just love learning about astrology, and especially related to relationships, whether it's romantic or friendships.
That's what it's all about. How does anyone really get obsessed with this?
Truly.
You start with that.
Astrology people are relationship people. Like, it's fun to learn about yourself, but like, it's a boring topic if you're not taking the merchandise out and interacting with other humans, you know?
I completely agree. And it's just brought so much clarity and so much compassion to my relationships as I've learned more about astrology and other people's charts and just I don't want to say compatibility, but there's something there to like why we're brought together. And Krista and I have, our charts have been studied many times over the years on the podcast. I won't go into it
Love
today.
your devotion to astrology and human design too.
Oh, yeah. And it's just brought so much light to why we're together, on a growth level of like how she helps me grow and vice versa, of like what we're meant to do here in the world. And same with like my husband, and I'm learning as we grow together too. So it just is a nice layer to play in rather than just like, okay, so you're controlling and, I'm subservient, whatever it is.
That out of the box, one size fits all relationship advice. It needs to be nuanced and accented with astrology.
I completely agree. So the latest book, Supercouple, which is gorgeous, by the way. They brought me both Supercouple and the 2023 horoscope book are thick and gorgeous. And I'm so excited to dig in.
With a QUE.
It's amazing. But I want to talk about the importance of supercouple.
Yes.
And the different approach, because I think a lot of people, when they think of astrology and romantic relationships, they're like, oh my God, am I compatible? Are we compatible? What's like, people have this like black or white feeling around certain signs can't be with other signs.
Yep.
So I'd love to talk about the inspiration for this.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is we're all the sum of our parts. Some parts of you will be compatible and some parts of you won't. I mean, we have essentially the same chart as identical twins, and we still have areas where we clash.
Yeah.
And so how do you explain that? Well, that's where supercouple comes in, because what it is it's a composite chart. So what it does, it takes the midpoint of your sun and their sun, the midpoint of your moon and their moon, the midpoint of your Mercury, their Mercury, and so on. So it basically, if your two charts had a baby and met exactly in the middle, you know, this is your northwest, your blue ivy, your, you know.
Essentially, like what you're talking about is there are two types of compatibility charts. There's a synastry or comparison of the two charts side by side. That's what most people do, and that's how we get spun out into this whole talk about whether you're compatible or not, because there are these oil and water differences. But then there's the second type, the combined composite chart, and that's what supercouple is. It's basically a full-on encyclopedia to reading your composite chart, because that is the third chart of, so your relationship as a zodiac sign, essentially. We wanted to call it what sign is your relationship, but that was too much of a mouthful. And supercouple is just like, no, it's like, that's what we all want to be, right?
Totally. And I feel like, that really, even that word kind of brings forth that intention.
Yes.
It's not about finding what's wrong.
No.
It's not necessarily about finding what's wrong, but finding, and
like a
correct me if I'm
higher
wrong,
octave of the two of you together.
And the opportunities.
Yeah, the potential, the opportunities. Exactly. It's very positive. We need that lift. Like, it's great that we're all working on traumas and other things, but simultaneously we have to have some hope and something fun to tap into.
I agree. What aspects of this composite chart are we looking at in particular, and what do they mean? Are there certain planets or transits that we're looking at?
Well, it's not really the transits in this book, but it's more like the chart, almost like the birth chart of your relationship. So we do the sun, moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter,
planet.
Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. So
Nodes.
And the nodes as well. The north and south nodes are in there, because you can really see, we're believers in past lives. So the composite south node does show like where your relationship started and where it's going. I've had really weird karmic interactions with guys who I have a Libra south node. I'll run the supercouple chart and I'll be like, oh God.
We were married in a past
Gotta stay
life.
away from you, because, we're...
One of the most fascinating things we found because we love to look at celebrity charts, or public figures, because they're great teachers. They're the modern kind of muses for us all. So it's fascinating when you see two kind of wild signs coming together in this sort of boring way. Or like a great example is Justin and Hailey Bieber. She's a Sagittarius, free-spirited. He's a Pisces, hard to pin down. They become a Capricorn sun together. All of a sudden, they're all married young, going to church, doing all these very adult things.
Yes.
Like, God, why are you so fascinating yet boring?
I never thought about it like that. That's so true. Like very normal
adult.
and adult.
Yeah, and deal with like heavy issues. Like, didn't she have a stroke?
Yes,
and he has the Bell's palsy.
Yes.
Like,
And they went to therapy, and
Yep.
they were working on their It's like they have their relationship as a job, and that's a Capricorn supercouple.
Wow, that is so interesting.
Yep.
Does it, especially with celebrities, I'm curious, when celebrities marry celebrities, I assume it's because there's a lot of things to relate on, and just there's this safety and security in knowing that the other person gets it or understands. But is there anything in the chart too?
Oh, always, for sure.
I mean, yeah.
We did Beyonce's chart with Jay-Z in 2003. We were backstage at the Billboard Music Awards in the celebrity swag room. That was a weird, divine, serendipitous thing.
That was really. We met Stevie Wonder that day too, and Sting, and I know it was like
we got invited to
best day of our lives.
Yeah, got invited to have a table. We're like, yeah, we'll do it. Yeah, and then they were like, okay, it's $10,000 for the table. We're like, we don't have that. And then they called us back. Would you come anyway? We think it would be a real treat for the stars. We're like, hell yeah. And then so Beyonce was newly dating and kind of on the down low dating Jay-Z. But the rumor was out. So we did her chart. And then we're like, do you want one for, you know who? So we did. We had a little software. We did a composite chart for them.
And they have like, 5 planets in Libra and Scorpio? Like So, and same thing with Will and Jada. They have like their composite Supercouple chart is packed with Libra and Scorpio.
And what does that mean?
And those are the 2 signs that are most,
bonding,
focused on relationships. Libra is the sign of marriage, and Scorpio is the after party.
Scorpio is the sex, the intimacy, the soul connections,
the mortgage, the reproduction. The
So you wouldn't, you would think, oh, Beyonce's this nice bougie girl from Houston, and Jay-Z's a little scrappy, but together there's this sense of purpose. Like, this is my partner.
And they have Scorpio Taurus nodes, I think, too. So there's this very deep
power couple, money, wealth.
Was there anything that came up around kind of what they're here to, like the challenges that are like good growth challenges if they take them on?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of it is around just finding that balance between the material and the spiritual for them. Yeah. So, and very privacy. They're very private together, actually. So that's Scorpio and the nodes there. So, the public, the private, as we know.
Yeah. Very fascinating.
Do you make a visual album out of everything or not?
I think they're both born in the year of the rooster too. He's 69, she's 81. Yeah, so when that happens a lot with couples 12 years apart. So when you see an age difference, I always check for the north and south nodes being in opposite signs, or
which is
same
like 10 years.
Chinese lunar year. That's 12 years. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah,
I
Brangelina.
know. I can imagine as
the patterns.
The depth to which you are experts. You just discover these connections between, and is like the year of the rooster, is that modality connected to astrology?
Yes, actually every Chinese sign is ruled has a ruling planet. So and it follows the same order. So let's see. Well, Jupiter is what determines what sign rules every year. Jupiter changes signs every 11.8, or goes through the whole zodiac every 11.8 years. So every Chinese sign lasts for about a year. And then we're in the year of the rabbit now, which is associated with Neptune, the ruler of Pisces. What kind of a Piscean kind of energy.
And rooster is Mercury, right?
Yeah, rooster's
it's
Mercury.
Virgo, so
got it.
Yeah, rooster is associated with Virgo.
Think about the rooster corralling all the chickens.
Yes.
Like, hey, get together. I was just in Hawaii and I watched some. They're like
everywhere.
Roosters everywhere. I'm like, they are assholes. They
And
really
rooster
are.
women are. I mean, Britney's
Not calling Virgos assholes, but
But like, yeah,
but it's like, we are gonna lay down the law for you chickens. Get in line,
They're great performers, the women. I mean, Beyonce, J-Lo, who else? Britney Spears.
Yes.
They're all roosters.
Wow. Fascinating.
Strutting their stuff.
I think Britney's 41. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
But, to my earlier point of just the depth to which you go, there's just these connections between modalities and these just various like intricacies in the charts that must just feel so fun to discover, and then see patterns with different charts or different people in the public eye or not. I want to talk about destiny related to your chart. Because I feel like people have an idea of what destiny is, and it feels fixed. to some
Right.
people. And I'm not sure the answer whether it is or not. But I guess, can we talk about destiny as it
Yeah.
relates to astrology?
Absolutely.
I think free will and your chart are actually very connected. The more you learn about your chart, the more free will you gain, because that freedom is actually comes from consciousness, from understanding yourself. So destiny, I would say, like you get an iPhone, you take it out of the box. It looks like everybody else's iPhone, but it's not an Android. It has a distinct operating system. But the more you start to customize it, the more it becomes your own. It's definitely your phone. So that's how I liken free will to astrology. But we all do come with an operating system, and that's our chart. Within that, we have so much room to invent and create and make choices. So it's kind of like you have your basic blueprint and architecture. You move into an apartment, it's not furnished, you get to decorate it. But it is still an apartment, it's not a house. So your sign, your chart, you work within what you have.
Right.
And destiny and timing and coming together with people, I think there's a lot, like she had her daughter Sibel when, was it Jupiter went into our fourth house of motherhood? Like, we'll track, even though we try to, yes, of course we have free will, but we notice in our own lives, because that's where you can really see and take it for the road test, is that things happen in sync with planetary cycles. It's like, Jupiter went into our fifth house of fame, and we had a TV show on, come on Prime Video, like things happen like that. And then there is that sense with people that come into your life and stay there, that you have been on a journey before. And that's also where the supercouple, deciphering can really come in handy, because you can look, especially at like we were saying, the north and south nodes. Why are you here? But even the people who, stick around for a minute and then destroy you inside for months. Like, I think looking back on those exes too is also like, well, why did they come in? What was the lesson?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's certainly been a practice of mine, and something that I've talked about on the podcast. But I think it's important, because I feel like astrology has given me ownership and responsibility too, where there's aspects of, my personality that I can see confirmed in my chart, where, maybe it's a lower expression of it that I can really own and not be like, dunk myself in shame or
exactly, which
avoid
a Virgo
or like
could do
deny.
easily.
Yes. So it's been very, very helpful with the higher and lower expressions.
Yes.
I know that every sign has kind of like a light and a shadow, if we want to talk about it that way.
If you want to think about your so destiny isn't just one fixed point. Maybe it's a range of things. So what vibration you're putting out is going to attract something that matches that. So you're going to get a lower expression of the destiny if you're putting out a lower vibration of self. But that's why learning your chart and your supercouple chart is so helpful, because then you become aware you're putting that out. Most people, we're our own biggest blind spots. We don't know what we're doing. People are always like, how is it to be a twin? I'm like, I don't know. I can only see her. It must be weirder for you. When I see twins, I think it's really weird that two people look alike.
Totally.
I can't see my face unless I look in the mirror. So,
or at me.
And that's what it's kind of like. We all have this avatar of ourselves out there. It's how people see us versus how we think we're coming across, and we don't know. So whatever you want to use, like astrology, to connect those two things, great. Oh, this is what other people are experiencing when they are around me, not what I'm thinking they are.
Sure. So, sometimes the discrepancy is shocking.
Right.
Sure is.
But the social media piece I thought of social media when you said avatar. Because it is an aspect of self that's kind of like projected out there. I'm currently on an IG hiatus, which is an interesting, it's an interesting experiment. I
What's
do it
coming
every
up for
year.
you? Yeah.
Even withdrawal symptoms?
You know what? This time round, no, not at all. Honestly, I felt ready, and I felt very focused and intentional this time round. Sometimes I rip myself off, and I'm like,
And I'm like, ooh, what's happening in your chart right now that's causing this?
Yeah.
Let's look.
Yeah.
It was I felt incredibly distracted as of late with social media, and I was like, I really crave depth.
Yeah.
And whether that's in creating or in my relationships, and social media for me, because I'm, quote unquote, a public person like that, sometimes pigeonholes me into a way of being, which is, presenting to the world, which is like very true and honest, but it's a slice, right?
Yep.
And then it kind of distorts my other relationships that I want to be deeper, because they're like, oh, you didn't tell me that. Or
The lies of omission that social media tells become, and then everybody's comparing themselves to what they see on your feed. She has a perfect life. No, I just told you one version of the story.
Exactly.
And the rest of the details. And even when you do vulnerably share it, it's like then people idealize you even more. So you can't win because it's all image.
I know.
It's what it does to the brain.
Idealizing that avatar. And I'm curious if there's anything in astrology that points to how people show up online, or if you've seen any trends.
For sure. I mean, Saturn has been in Aquarius, the sign of technology and social media and community. And Saturn is very old school, and it shows us the limits. So it's exposed the limits, and also I think made us crave real, IRL.
It's also Saturn's a planet of expertise. And in Aquarius, everyone's trying to show up as an expert on, here's my TikTok skincare morning routine.
TikTok, but I've heard.
Right. I've done this for 5 minutes. Now I'm an expert, and the
I'm a life coach. I'm 15 years old.
Exactly.
Although my daughter did make a 12-year-old acai bowl, that was pretty masterful from TikTok. So there are, the kids are definitely learning some things.
They are, but still, it's just, I think there's also, that limit. Pluto, Pluto comes in and tears everything down and then forces us to rebuild it. And it's inching towards Aquarius right now. It's moving into Aquarius for just a little slice of 2023 from March 23rd to June 11th. And then it's going to go back and forth between Capricorn and Aquarius. Then November 19th, 2024. It's 20 solid years in Aquarius for the first time since 1778 till 1798. So that was when we got the Constitution. It was the French Revolution. So
sounds fun.
Yeah, wherever Pluto goes.
The dollar was minted. Wow. There was a crappy currency that had gotten fraudulently.
The
Continental. Yeah. So there was a economic.
Sounds like something.
This is great.
Continental
the colonists
breakfast.
had their own currency called the Continental, but it was fake printed, and just like we've overprinted money now with inflation. So
and I'm thinking of like a Bitcoin or currency.
Exactly. I think we've been talking about this for a couple of years. Like the dollar bill was created for a more monitorable, system.
Yes,
so
yes.
I guess that tells us where the future of crypto is headed.
Well, it's I don't know. When Pluto went into Capricorn, which rules governments and the economy in 2008, we had the mortgage crisis, the bank bailouts. We got Obama, but halfway through we wound up with Trump, and now we're wrapping this up. And so, when Pluto went into Sagittarius before that, which rules media and global relations, we used to spend $30 for a minute overseas to a call. We had no internet, and then it's like boom, we emerged in 2008 with smartphones, global
5G everywhere.
Yeah. And so what's going to happen, Pluto is, in Aquarius is giving us a new relationship with social media, technology, aliens, outer space, community and sharing. So I think the way we share, the way we commune, I don't know, are we going to become more of a tribal culture? Are we going to want to block out? I think people are are sick of having no privacy, nowhere to go where they're not regulated. Yet some people are ready to be transhumanistic and have.
I know.
It's so
Oh,
weird. The
God.
transhumanism, it freaks me out.
It's getting
so weird.
so sci-fi up in
And
here.
I think like the intensity and the polarity there is kind of forcing people to be like, so I'm either this way or that way, or I should have a farm in the middle of nowhere, or I should, you know, clone myself. Like, you know what I mean? There's no like comfortable middle ground, at least yet. But
I know a couple groups of people on the West Coast who tried the whole farm fantasy, and while Saturn was in Aquarius, so the farm fantasy is not all it's cracked up to be, you know.
I've had that fantasy at times, and then I'm like, so I can't walk to get like, you know, something from the butcher, the baker, the CVS. You know,
no, you have to slaughter the cow yourself and milk it before you do, and then collect the eggs. And oh my God, I had a friend with sheep that turned into she broke up with someone over sheep.
Actually, she couldn't break up because they both had an emotional attachment to the same sheep.
No,
it was like a custody issue.
Yeah, totally.
I understand that. I understand that.
You people, you know, make sure you know your attachment style before you do that.
But maybe we'll get it right. Maybe we'll get it right, you know. And,
I think people go to what the feeling is represented by. So it's like, what do people really want? Mm-hmm. Do they want more connection to nature? Do they want more, you know, intentional time and connection with people they love? And then they kind of see what other people are doing maybe to achieve that. And they're like, I do that. Instead of like, let me feel into like what this is for me and what this could look like for me. So I
love that you're saying that, because in our 2023 horoscope book we always do a numerology chapter every year. And this is a 7 universal year, which is all about exactly that, like balancing spirit and science, balancing let me observe and not rush and listen, and you know, and then also like, but my intuition is telling me. So listen to your intuition, but don't act upon it immediately.
Yeah. Totally.
Or you'll end up with a sheep instead of a kid.
Right. Which might not be the worst thing.
I mean, the sheep is a part of the divorce.
Right. Exactly. You know? They
and
have to be
cloned, you know, to make it,
it's so wild. So I definitely want to get to the like second half of 2023 in a little bit. So we'll put a pin in it.
Yeah, it's a big one for you because you have your North Node return. Do you know that?
Thank you for telling me this.
Yeah, your North Node's in Aries, and on July 17th, for the first time in 18 and a half years, the North Node heads back into Aries till January 11th, 2025. So, destiny calling.
I always say if you do want to have kids, it's a great time. Because then they'll have the same nodes as you, and you'll be. I mean, it was an accident, but nonetheless, my daughter and I have the same North and South node, and it's very comfortable.
Boy, that's amazing! Yeah. Wow. Yes, I will be ordering Mom Astrology.
Mom
Astrology.
When that time.
And a child. Order up a child. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk underwear. I am such a fan of Skims. I have talked about this on my social media, but I wanted to bring it here to the podcast. Krista and I are absolutely obsessed with their Fits Everybody collection. It is truly the best kept secret. I have basically every color, almost every style. I've just found it to be the most comfortable and effective underwear ever. I'm someone who doesn't traditionally love to wear underwear, so this has been like life-changing because sometimes like you gotta wear underwear. You know what I mean? So I've replaced all of my old underwear with the Skims Fits Everybody collection. But if you're not familiar with Skims, this is the solution-oriented brand creating the next generation of underwear, loungewear, and shapewear for everybody. And it's really, really true. The Fits Everybody collection in particular comes in such a huge range of sizes from extra, extra small to 4X. 9 different core colorways, and then they have limited edition seasonal colors. It's lightweight, form-fitting, and these are essentials from the underwear to the loungewear. I truly have these pieces as ones I am wearing every single week. The buttery soft fabric molds to your body and stretches to twice its size. I will say it's really nice to not worry about like, oh, this is too tight. And again, it's offered in a range of cuts and fits from underwear and bras to dresses, t-shirts, and body suits.
Side note on what I'm loving from Skims, the dipped front thong is my go-to. I have it in literally every color. And my new obsession is the triangle bralette. It is so soft. It is so stretchy. I wear it under t-shirts. I wear it sometimes just for like my pajamas. It's amazing. I also got the boy short underwear. Oh, yo, like high-rise, stretchy, amazing. I'm obsessed. I also got the unlined demi bra, which is super sexy, so thin but supportive. It is a genius design, and I have one. I literally need to get like 5 more. So believe the hype. I know you've heard about it. This collection has over 90,000 5-star reviews for a reason. Skims fits everybody, and more best-selling essentials are available now at skims.com. Plus, get free shipping on orders over $75, all at Skims, Skims.com.
So I want to talk about examples of valuable challenges in a chart that you've seen. Because I feel like and I'll just speak for myself, sometimes I see, whether it's through astrology or just I'm sensing a challenge in a relationship, at least early on in my relationship with my husband, I was like, oh God, is this going to work? Like, can I? And I was more averse to really being there and not running away. I was just like, this is too hard. This is too hard. I don't see the point.
Yeah.
And I didn't see the purpose.
So get it. Like, how do you know whether to stay or go? Well, that's why that was one of our intentions with writing Supercouple, because when you go to the comparison chart, it's so easy to be like, okay, I give up. It's never going to work. So this, this book is meant to be a roadmap for you to like, let's try this first.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can meet in the middle. What I love about the Supercouple chart, it doesn't matter. The relationship may or may not work out, but it's like, I had a boyfriend once who was from the Middle East, and grew up in the United States, and we just could never speak each other's languages properly. But we decided to meet in Paris, and neither one of us spoke French, and it was the best 4 days of our entire relationship because there was this level playing field. And that's what I think of as the composite chart. It's like, you don't have an advantage. I'm not in your turf. You're not in mine. There's all these power dynamics and struggle. So I think every challenge in a chart is valuable, but it becomes not an asset when you just get stuck in a dynamic. Yeah. But what happens is that's your invitation to unpack that dynamic. Well, where is this coming from it's like, that's when you have a choice. Am I up for doing this level of work? Where is this originating from? This person is pushing a button. We love internal family systems, parts work, because it's like, then you can deal with it. This part of them is triggering this part of me. Where can I find it in the chart? Celestial scavenger hunt. And where what would be a good tool to use for that? That's how I would recommend approaching it.
Yeah. No, I love that that visual of you meeting in Paris. Like I see that ground as, I just see the chart as like this neutral meeting place of and having a positive intention going into wanting to be together, wanting to grow together, and now having a bit of a map on how we can do that and leverage that.
Yeah, what made you decide to stick it out with him? Like, what was it that made you say, I'm going to face the challenge?
So many things. I feel as though on a soul level, I felt like the deep purpose of our relationship. And he's someone that has always called me to be myself and the highest expression of myself. And 10 years ago when we met, I was like, absolutely not. I'm 24,
Saturn return.
It was right before my Saturn return, a couple years before. And Yeah, I was working in the bars. I was serial dating. I was going after the guys that had no time for me. I was drinking quite a bit. I just wasn't respecting myself on all levels.
It wasn't time either.
Yes.
Yeah.
i.e. you were 24.
Exactly. And we met, and he was just so clear. He was like, I would love to get to know you and take you out. And he was so just kind and clear. And I was like, oh, this is too much. Like, this is too much.
Yeah.
So we always remained connected and friends, did a little dance every once in a while. But it wasn't until a little over 3 years ago when we reconnected that I had gone through my Saturn return, lots of therapy, lots of just inner exploration where I felt like a completely different person. And I just saw him and I was like, oh, clear.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it. Like, I don't want to run. I really love how we challenge each other because I know there's just that, like deep soul
You were ready.
purpose.
And that's, I think, when you're ready to kind of grow, like in a relationship. Like,
that's true.
When you're ready to have a relationship is when you're ready to accept that there will be challenges and make space for them. I think a lot of people are looking for a challenge-free relationship, and they wind up being perpetually disappointed, perpetually single. And it's okay, if you don't want that. But that's just not, these idealized, we've never had a fight in our lives. Well, it's someone's cheating then.
I'm also,
it's in the chart.
I'm glad that we asked you that, and I loved your answer because I think you'll love when you look at Supercouple. We added a few things in at the beginning and the end, and in the intro there's a part called the 4 Supercouple seasons based on the decade of your life you're in. So those cross section with the chart, if you're going to have this Supercouple relationship in your 20s, you're going to be in one phase because you have the Saturn return.
Yes.
In your 30s, you have all these transits that happen that like test your boundaries. Then you get to the Uranus opposition in your early 40s. Yeah,
very interesting.
When I saw that Adam Levine from Maroon 5 was having this like
whatever he
I'm
had.
sorry, that's totally the absolute wrong word for it that was about to come out.
Whatever he had.
Whatever he did, I was like, he's got to be 42, and indeed he was. Yeah. We can
the
chat about
midlife
that.
crisis planets in your early 40s. The
and
transits.
what is Uranus?
So Uranus, it is just Uranus.
Yes.
It's where your
There's no
head's
good
up
way
your
of saying
ass. Uranus is where your head is up your ass, for better or for worse. Where you're willing to just kind of be a rebel, a teenager, a disruptor. You're not paying attention to the consequences, which can create change in a good way. It's also, science, but it's the only planet that spins on its side. So it really is this. So when it takes 84 years to do one full orbit around, and go through all the signs. And at 42, it's exactly opposite in the zodiac where it was when you were born. So that opposition is like, it's as far away from your native energy as possible. And so you're gonna, because, of course, we learn in our youth of, okay, don't touch the hot stove. But during the opposition, you get selective amnesia. You buy the red sports car. You have a fling with, a lifeguard.
Well, it's supposed to be when...
Not that I've done those things.
It's supposed to be when the Kundalini energy awakens.
Wow.
So it's supposed to shoot up through your chakras. And for
Uranus
men...
goes electricity.
Yeah, so for men, that's supposed to hit them in the heart chakra and open their hearts. And then they get this burst of feminine energy, quote unquote, not to be stereotypical by gender, but and for women, it's supposed to hit the throat chakra. And you notice a lot of women at that age have thyroid issues because suddenly this burst of energy awakens our voices and this yang energy. So Uranus is a planet of youth. So it's like that last burst of fertility and youth. So when you are, even if you're in the quote unquote perfect Supercouple or synastry relationship, you're going to still, things can be going along. And then one of you hits the, it's like, here's Adam Levine. He's married to a model who supports him and they have kids. Why would he do this to his family? That's not what he's thinking about. Sure. He encountered an energy. If there's going to be that traffic ahead. it's coming. I'm probably going to be attracted to a coworker. I'm probably going to have a midlife
And what
crisis.
it comes down to is wanting to reconnect your youth, which biologically makes sense, but also astrologically, because you also have your Saturn opposition at that time. So the first time you have a Saturn opposition is when you're like 14 years old.
Right.
So you also are like, Saturn is rules and boundaries, and you want to push against the boundaries then. Neptune, which is very slow moving, takes 165 years to orbit through the signs. It hits a square. It's 90 degrees from where it was around age 40, 90 degrees away from when you were born. So Neptune normally has no boundaries. So that's where it's kind of interesting.
Kind of a shit
it's like
show.
this.
Yeah, wow.
It's like a lot of times at 40, like people, like women especially, who are taught still to not say no. Like learn to love the word, but can get a little carried away with it too, you know?
Well, you've spent 40 years training the people in your life that you are this way and setting up these dynamics maybe for 10, 15 years in a relationship. And then all of a sudden you don't know why, but you're feeling like a different person, or you just don't. It's like you hit this energy and you got to get through it in order to transcend it or transform it or integrate it. You know, whatever, metabolize it, whatever you want to say. So if we know that that's coming, we can prepare, I believe. But we so often don't. And then we're like, what is happening to me? It must be perimenopause. It gets blamed for everything.
And it should be.
And that's how, that's how we feel about, when we reference a Saturn return. We're not experts by any means, but this podcast was started during our Saturn return and is something that, is foundational to what we talk about and why we create what we do. And it's been so cool to see people, women in particular, understand that they're about to go through or they are going through their Saturn return and just have the light bulbs going off, the hearts opening. They're just like, oh my God, okay, this all makes sense.
Yes.
And there's not this why me? Why is everything happening to me? Feeling. They really become so much more empowered during that period and understand the purpose of Saturn. And I'm curious, so you mentioned in your 30s, you mentioned boundaries.
Well, yeah, one of the big things in your 30s is the second nodal return, which you're going to have this year. So the north and south nodes, which are connected to the eclipse cycles. Eclipses go through a full cycle every 18 and a half years. The nodes are the points in the sky where it's complicated. But basically they're connected to the eclipses. So, the south node is like your whatever sign it's in is like your comfort zone where you'll have ease, maybe get complacent, but you're on that karmic journey. It's not unfamiliar to you. The north node is the new language you're here to learn, what you're here to move towards. And so every 18 and a half years or so, you'll have you'll get back to those lessons again. The first time happens when you ostensibly leave home or go to college or break out and do your own thing around 18, 19. But again, around 36 to 38, you'll have that again. So a lot of times we see now, that's a good time to have a kid, I think, in our modern era, because you wind up having the same soul grouping as your kid if that happens, But also you decide whether or not you want that. You kind of are like, okay, you kind of crystallize your path that you begin with the Saturn return. And you're like, okay, I'm sticking to it now. I'm ready to have a little more fun again after that too.
Yeah. Fascinating.
Right?
Fascinating.
Right?
I would love to talk about a couple charts you have in your hand just to kind of
I have the
put into
composites.
practice the Supercouple Composite
chart.
Yes, I texted them to you.
So
I have your
Krista's
natal
chart,
charts in my hand, which is and Ophi has the.
Do you want to do the
Supercouple.
composite, the Supercouple for you and Krista?
Sure, would love it.
Okay. So together, so this is kind of a nice coin toss together. So she's a Pisces, you're a Virgo, you become a Sagittarius, which rules publishing and media and wisdom and teaching and new perspectives.
Traveling, expansion. You probably really broaden the heck out of each other's horizons.
Yes,
all the metaphysical
very
stuff
lucky
you
together
guys
when
talk
you guys
about.
combine that Sagittarius energy just
sharing
opens
the
up
wisdom.
for you.
Yes.
And then you have a Sagittarius. Oh no, she's a Sagittarius moon. Sorry, you have a Gemini moon. So together you have a Virgo moon in that chart. So all about the books and the reading and the learning and just connecting to people through asking questions and.
But also emotionally, and you know, the moon is kind of your needs together. Like you guys need a lot of structure probably too, and that has and maybe
planning.
That whether that comes easily or not, it's probably like. Okay, let's batch things out. Let's schedule these. That's been maybe the if you don't have that, there's an upset.
And we have different ways in which we express that. Sometimes I want like freedom, no structure, and she's like very structured, coming from like a corporate background. But then sometimes she wants kind of total freedom, and I'm like, no, but we need to do it this way. You know, very particular.
What's fun is that you have opposite sun signs and opposite moon signs from each other. So you're like really dead in the middle. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Because Sag and Gemini are opposite as well.
Wow.
But your rising signs are one sign apart. So she's a Virgo rising, you're Libra rising. You won the coin toss. Together you guys become a Libra rising. So it really, that
makes sense. How all the beautiful branding that you have, the rising being your front facing, you know, together. I don't know, you guys have a very glamorous Libra brand.
Love the photos and everything. It's also just very like that soothing Libra aesthetic is super important. Interesting, Mercury, which rules communication, and since this is a podcast and media platform, hers is in Aquarius, yours is in Libra. So both air signs, which is great for talking to people, and that also becomes a composite Sagittarius, your composite Mercury, your supercouple chart. So also talking about that amplifies the Sagittarius sun. It's all about talking about the big ideas and just growing a media platform. Asking the
questions that need to be asked.
Venus and Cancer, Mars and Scorpio in the composite chart. So a lot, women for sure.
Venus and Cancer, Mars and Scorpio. Interesting. So relationships that probably and emotions find their way into your dialogue a lot.
Yes. Decoding emotions is what this is all about.
Time.
But talking about them in a Sagittarian way.
Mic too, right?
Yes,
yeah.
Very much.
It's about that emotional intelligence. Like you will really want to create that safe space. I think your membership does that too. The safe home, safe, beautiful home for predominantly women, female identified people, and allies of women to come to. Respect for the divine feminine, a way of, but also with the moon in Virgo, taking a step back from it that gives you a little analytical distance to decode the mystery of emotions.
What is their composite? What are their composite nodes?
In this one, Krista won because she's a Virgo South Node, Pisces North Node, and your Libra South Node, Aries North Node. So your Virgo South Node, Pisces North Node together. So it's all about the spirituality and nature and the plants and micro dosing and all the things that you guys talk about.
Health and healing and wellness and all that. It's a big
Saturn and Saturn.
Sharing that with the world. You're here to do that.
Wow.
Open people up to it,
Yes. Yeah. Everything is spot on.
I recently went to a wedding, and my favorite part of the getting ready process for a wedding is the finishing touches. And I wore my new pieces from Kotori Life, and I'm really, really excited to share this brand with you. Krista and I were introduced to Kotori Life, and we were like, are you serious? Like, there is a brand out there that truly gets it right. It's not only beautiful, but truly gets it right. This is a small, independent, woman-owned philanthropic jewelry business. Each piece of jewelry is ethically made by hand in small batches in the U.S. It's made from recycled metals and ethically sourced stones. And what's so cool is that every piece of jewelry sold plants 20 trees and supports ocean conservation.
They are so in integrity. They truly care about the process of making the jewelry and sustaining their business. And I just wanted to share what I have been adorned with lately from the Kotori collection. So the Katana hoops. Okay, this is like a classic hoop, but has like this very wabi-sabi feel, meaning it's kind of imperfect. They have like this organic texture and shape to them, even though they're still like a round hoop. I just love them. They're so unique, not just your typical hoop. And bonus is that they're very light. So I got them in bronze. I have stretched like holes in my ears, so I need to make sure that any earring I wear is light. And they are so light and comfortable. I love them. I love the Delphi ring as well. So this is like a little bit wider organic band. I put it on my pointer finger. It's just such a statement. It has this smooth face that transitions into like this textured side. It's awesome. It fits super comfortably. And then I also got the Ankh necklace, which, y'all, it's something I wear just about every day. This is an everyday piece for me. And Ankh, which means the breath of life, knowing that the divinity of self in relation to all. This particular amulet was revered in ancient Egypt and maintains its magic and sacredness to this day. They designed this necklace as an offering to those walking the path in reverence of the sacred breath and life, and just ways of bringing beauty into the world. I just love this piece. So I wear it just about every day, and I feel really special wearing it. And I think we have to remember that when we are buying jewelry, not only do we want it to make us feel special and beautiful, but also the meaning and how it's made. Everything is energy, so we gotta be very mindful of that. And for our listeners, Kotori Life is offering 20% off, which is a major discount with any purchase. And again, every single piece sold plants 20 trees, so you not only get a great discount, but feel really good about planting a tiny forest. As we head into summer, this is such a great way to try Kotori Life and elevate your style for the new season. Get your new jewels at KotoriLife.com. That's KatoriLife.com. This deal is only available for a limited time, so take advantage now. The code is almost 30 to get 20% off.
Do you want to know about you and Sean together?
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
because
I would love that.
I'm so curious after looking. You guys have, I mean, in your individual charts, your rising signs are squaring each other because you're a Libra rising.
Yep.
He's a Capricorn rising, so that would make sense why he would be so. In the rising sign is kind of like your compass, what you're focused on the external world. So it was all about experiencing romance and relationships for you at the Libra rising, whereas he was focused on building. Yeah, so I'm so curious what that combines into.
You guys ended up with a Scorpio, 29 degrees, so you just made it. But a Scorpio composite ascendant, rising sign. So really, people might look at you guys and be like, there's a whole lot of things I don't
Sexy
understand.
Power couple.
Sexy power couple, but also like it's a mystery. Like you're private.
Yeah, we're very private.
Except until now.
I know.
Yeah. Right. You were very private. Oh, God. Well, you don't have to be so private because you're a composite Gemini sun and moon.
Wow.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
So you're fun.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of conversations, lots of talking about the things. Yeah. This is interesting because the composite could go in one direction or another. So with Krista, you become a composite Sagittarius, even though she's a Pisces. And, with Sean, you become a composite Gemini with the system that we use. So, she's more of like where you have the high-minded talks. And I don't know, I feel like you guys like to watch a lot of TV shows, go to concerts, go to that kind of thing, or do you talk about all the ideas and everything? A little more of a mundane
You married your
level.
best friend.
Yeah, so we definitely have that type of connection, and like we do talk a lot, and there's like a depth to which we can go. There's like the strategy of like kind of being
strategy.
Each other's kind of like cheerleaders and help each other vision.
Totally.
And then we can be like totally silly and
you can be playful in that. I like that you said strategy because that's more the Gemini. It's not like you don't get lost in the abstract. It's very tactical. Like how are we going to make this thing happen? I've got an idea. Oh, I've got an idea. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then, your Venus and Mars, of course, as a romantic couple are very important. So Venus is in Sagittarius and Mars is in Cancer. So that would say travel and home are both important.
That's true.
And that's a really good, Venus and Mars in the super couple composite chart are a great thing to look at when you feel like you hit a plateau at all, because Venus is like, okay, how do we get the energy flowing for romance again? So for you guys with Sagittarius, and that composite is probably, okay, where's our next big vacation? Like you have to go somewhere you have to go to Paris, like
Adventure,
Adventure or sports too, maybe doing something athletic together. But Mars and Cancer, like if you want to get the, va-va-boom flowing again, you look at Mars. And so it's like maybe a little more softer and we need to connect.
That's an opportunity point, I would say. So here's, like you said, destiny or challenges. Like this is a great example because you have Mars in Gemini, he has Mars in Virgo, 2 Mercury-ruled signs very much in the head and in the analytical realm. But together they become Cancer, which is all emotions. So, Mars can also be where there's stress and tension and, so things maybe get a little too intense at home, like maybe if you're both working from home or just could get a little hot under the roof sometimes. So you go back to the Gemini and the Virgo when it gets intense at home. When it gets too disconnected, you do
or
more
embodied. You start to drown in the emotionality. You feel like you're parenting each other, and then it's like, go read a book or go hang out, go dancing, go do something that's like more
light and social.
Totally.
So you can kind of toggle back and forth between your own individual charts and how they go together, and then the super couple version of it, and then you get this complete recipe. You get Paris, the Paris that we talked about. So
totally. Yeah, the toggling back and forth is interesting. Like, what would you say you refer to your own chart when you're wanting to just cultivate an energy within yourself? And then
or just understand the contrast.
Okay.
Like, okay, so he's Mars and Gemini. So you could say, why is he just talking so much? He sounds like a robot. What is his emotions?
Does he start a lot of projects and tinker with things sometimes?
Or read a lot of books.
Yeah, loves books.
Loves the YouTube stuff, whatever. It's like,
a how-to of things.
You go, that's his design. I'm going to honor that, and my design is Mars and Virgo. I'm going to go probably mess around in the kitchen.
That's nice. That's nice.
I'm going to make some plant-based concoction but I'm going to bring it together maybe through Cancer by making some plant-based dinner, and he'll do the playlist because Gemini's the DJ. So you go, his strength, my strength, our strength.
Love that.
I'm thinking about that Esther Perel quote, how, relationships rest on 2 pillars, togetherness and autonomy. So the togetherness is the super couple chart. The autonomy is your individual chart. Yes. And you need to feed both if you want to keep the energy flowing. So it's like the
Astrology
switch.
Solves the Esther Perel mystery that we're all obsessed with.
Sorry, Esther.
But it's so true. I mean, I learned that through my relationship with him because I felt pretty codependent in the beginning, where I'm like, why don't you want to spend all your time with me? Why do you want to do things without, just having that very codependent, thing.
And that's your Libra South node. In all your past lifetimes, you were always in a partnership, and you're learning your Aries North node how to be on your own. So that's something that you to your earlier question, you bring, that's my challenge in this relationship. Mine and mine alone doesn't mean he can't support me, but this is my responsibility to be aware of it.
Yes.
That's when something becomes a deal breaker is often like, you're like, why isn't he taking care of me? Why isn't he paying enough attention? How can I ever be happy? And you go, let me look at my chart. Do I have a past life pattern where I've always looked to others for happiness? Well, ding, 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 there it is. Libra South node. Yeah. My work is to find happiness myself. And then if he's not making me happy after that, then we'll have another conversation.
I love that you walked us through that. I think that's so powerful. So we're looking at the South node. We're really taking responsibility for that. We're kind of working with that. And then if it still feels a little off, we can, make the right
maybe
decision.
not going to be the thing that makes me happy.
Right.
Love them, but happiness isn't found. And I feel like go right to the South Node if you're start there. If you're
and if you're dating someone with an opposite South Node, the Supercouple chart is a lifesaver because they're gonna want the like I seem to attract men with Capricorn South Node, Cancer North, or Cancer South Node, Capricorn North. So for me, it's like, okay, I've been a mom in so many lifetimes. It's career for me, but I have a maternal way that they think, oh, she'd be a great mother,
It's like, honey, we're 50.
Yeah.
I know, exactly.
Totally.
Or like, here's my
ship
kid for my
sailed.
first marriage, but it's like, I've just, but whatever, it's like, they want to come and be all in the cozy bubble of the home we create too. And it's like,
Sure.
but I want to get out and see the
Totally.
world. So
Yes.
J-Lo ain't your mama.
Right, exactly.
Is there a decade transit that's coming up for you both?
We're in it.
You're in
it's
it.
the
Okay.
Chiron return, which is
Okay.
4950. So that's an interesting one. That's when you suddenly are like, God, all that stuff that mattered so much to me, those, don't anymore. It's very interesting how it also syncs with kind of hormonal cycles or childbirth and reproductive cycles, reminding us that we're animals.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, well, who am I? What do I want?
Yeah, the Chiron is a wounded healer comet, and it goes between Saturn, which is, structure and boundaries, and Uranus, which is complete rebellion and disruption of all that. So it's what's your wound and how do you create a safe space and also freedom so you bring your wounded wisdom into the world. In your 50s, you become this, and you have your second Saturn return mid-50s, like 56. Yep. So it's like that, the decade of the 50s and then into the 60s are a lot of, it's like repeating transits. There's not anything really new.
Okay.
Yep.
Like there's not going to be a new return again until
and if you
your
didn't
80s.
learn
Jupiter,
quote unquote
yes.
the first time, would
Yeah.
it kind of be the same or would it?
You just keep building on it.
Got
But
it.
yes, I have
always
seen that
a new
happen
one.
with clients. I had a client who worked in fashion for years and had not dealt with some eating disorder stuff as a teen, and she turned 49 and like all that stuff came up, and she had to change industries because it was too intense for her to. And out of that, she became like an advocate for people who are dealing with that. So it was, we all have our wounds, but yeah, it's a chance to, if you have not worked on them. Yeah, a lot right now, Chiron is in Aries. So people who are having Chiron returns are dealing with anger issues. Like, look at all the, and then collectively look at all the anger that people are, the gun violence increase. The world is collectively going through these cycles too. So but yeah, really learning how to stand up for yourself, self-identify.
You have that with your North Node and Jupiter and Aries in your chart. So,
Yes.
so you want to look at the person that you pick not as like, should I or shouldn't I, but like, why them? Who is this person? What are they mirroring to me that I,
and also why us? Let's run this Supercouple
why
chart.
am I here? Yeah. Why us? Why them? Yeah.
Fascinating.
It's more like, get curious instead of
Yes.
like, should I, shouldn't I, stay or go? All these polarities.
And
We
we
can
should
leave anytime.
mention that in the book, we've actually set up a little companion website so that people can, with a calculator, so you
Great.
just, you have to run this chart in order to understand the book.
Great.
So it has a little just a little bit of work that you have to do, a little calculation, but all you need are your birthdays.
Yeah. It's a fun creative challenge because we're coming up with like cheat sheets. You get at supercouple.com with the book, you can go log in and there's a little hub with resources and printable things and the guide to the 4 Supercouple seasons to take you through the decade. We also have a little outro at the back of the book, our kind of manifesto on 5D relationships, because as we're using these tools, the nature of relationships is changing in the Aquarian era. I mean, we don't need, marriage came about for property reasons, as most of us know, but like the reasons that people got married don't even make sense
You said
anymore.
something. You said we're going from agrarian to Aquarian.
Yeah.
Unless people start doing the farms, and we're going
Yeah,
back to,
maybe
then we're going into agrarian. You know,
Aquarian is going to be different than
Totally.
an age of Pisces one. So
What else about the Aquarian age do you see affecting relationships?
one interesting thing is that, like, I think every 250 years or so, Neptune and Pluto trade places in the sky. And I feel like I can say this here. I've been waiting for a space to share this astro nerdery, but from 1979 to 99, they switched places.
Okay.
And Neptune became the farthest planet out, and Pluto came closer to. And I feel like the people who grew up in the 80s and 90s have this totally different job on the planet and different relationship to spirituality and death and all the themes of Neptune and Pisces, who were brothers in mythology.
Neptune and Pluto,
Pluto. So, that's when technology came into this big download for everybody, like just the speed of it. So I don't know. I think it changed. It's like it changed 3D. What happened was that we no longer had to be in the same location as another person to love them or have a relationship with them. Wow. That was unheard of before. I mean, people fall in love in DM chats or,
my hairdresser met his now boyfriend on TikTok.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's happening.
It is happening. I know it's not so shocking for the kids listening. Yeah.
I know, but I really didn't think about that, how the internet really dropped in during that time and how that really changed the options when it came to either finding people, staying connected to people.
We were limited by the 3D plane. We had to make it, And
also the rise, polyamory and just open, or not even relationship anarchy is a term that I love. Because I think that is very Aquarian era. It's like, well, we get to make the rules how we want to and set, the communal nature of Aquarius merging with relationships. And
we worked on a reality TV show that we came up with that was bought by Amazon Prime, Cosmic Love. But
Genius.
Thank you. But it had to be very because of the way the producers and everybody set it up to be a reality show, it had to be all heterosexual couples, which made no sense in this age. So Supercouple is sort of could sound very much like you need to be in a couple, and that's the ultimate state. But our message is really not that. It's just it should always be a choice. Yes. And here's a way to help make your choice better and more informed and guided, so that really that your choices are coming from an authentic place in you instead of outside of you.
And we're all in relationship. You know what I mean? So it's not just romantic. And, we read my and Chris's charts, and I feel like, it's so valuable.
Well, exactly.
So valuable, whether it's family members or business partners, best friends. There's a depth to which we can go in our relationships that could totally change the experience. Yeah.
Oh yeah. 100%. I recommend doing a Supercouple chart with every member of your family. My daughter and my stepdaughter become a Virgo together, a Libra and Leo in their signs, and that's the only person that my daughter will follow rules with. With me, she's a Scorpio, so she just wants to be totally bonded all the time. Totally. Not talk,
Wow, yeah.
So it's so helpful too to navigating that.
I can only imagine with kids. I'm excited to run all the charts.
Oh yeah. That time comes if it does, if you choose it. Yes.
I would love to finish up with just a little insight into the second half of 2023, what we can expect.
Well, the second half of 2023, the big divider is the North Node changing, moving from Scorpio South Node, Taurus North Node, which began on January 18th, 2022.
Okay.
That cycle is, those are the Scorpio rules reproduction. Taurus rules work and money. We have quiet quitting, Roe v. Wade. I mean, recessions, NFT crashes, everything. So a lot of the focus is on, and these sort of these insidious, players on the world stage. So that it's not that ends, but we sort of evolve into this Libra South Node, Aries North Node. So what we're learning to do, it's more of that same thing.
War and peace.
Libra's peace. Aries is war.
Wow.
And relationships, the South Node, relationships need an upgrade, taking into account this new Aries energy that's about redefining, trailblazing, how do we, and Libra's all about sharing. So how do we share and get over, when do we realize we've had enough? So it's kind of like a reset too.
Interesting. How long does that last?
That lasts for 18 months until January 11th, 2025.
Okay.
Also, Venus is turning retrograde. Venus will be in Leo for a very long time, for 4 whole months. It usually stays in a sign for 4 weeks. So from June 5th to October 8th, we've got the summer of love, woo woo. Leo is all about romance and play, but July 22nd to September 3rd is the Venus retrograde. And that comes along every 584 days. When Venus shifts from being a evening star, so you can see it, Venus at dusk, to a morning star. So you'll see Venus right before dawn. So we always say metaphorically, it's like a chance to put your relationship issues to bed and write a new story. So a lot of focus on where we are addicted to drama, where we write people off too quickly, where it's all about worrying what other people think about our relation. It's like Leo cares about image and getting the shiny gold star, but how are we letting other people, we want to look good together. Well, what if you like someone that nobody in your life understands? How do you follow your heart? And that's a big deal thing. Is there anything else coming?
No, that's
the year?
That's the main
biggies.
Yeah. Mercury retrograde on New Year's over the holidays.
Oh, God, I know.
But let's not think about it because we're still recovering from it over the last holiday.
I know, I was going to say, we had it over this last holiday.
Yeah,
both New Years are
it goes December, January 1st to 2024, I think. So it's like, thanks.
December 13th to January 1st of 2024. Yep.
When it went direct, what was it, a few days ago?
Yeah, on the 18th.
We sent out our book proposal.
Oh, good.
I was going to talk about books because all the Sagittarius in your Supercouple chart is all about publishing. So
when you said
I can't wait to read this book.
Wow.
Oh, very
us too. It's been, but to bring back to my desire to focus and drop in and all of that, the book has been such a beautiful. And I can only imagine, I would love to talk to you
for sure.
About writing a book. But I've just loved just fully immersing myself in that process. I think because, it just allows that depth. I'm not distracted, or I've set myself up so I'm not distracted. And I'm really able to feel, I feel powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's nothing better than being in that flow state where you're connected to what you're doing and your purpose.
It's really like when we write, I don't know, for me, when I write horoscopes, it takes me a minute to get into it. But once I am, I feel like I'm just download. I've got so much information to download. And then you start to have this romance with words and the alliteration and that sounds,
And you both do that just so beautifully. I'm really... I'm excited to dig in and then to pick your brain on all things
we
writing.
Are here. We have
a
dinner. We have a dinner to have.
I know. I can't wait.
Ask us anything about a book. We've got you.
Well, thank you for this. This was so special. I can't wait for people to pick up Supercouple. Tell me where people can
get it on Amazon and from us at astrostyle.com in our shop. And if you get it in our shop, you get access to the hub, and we actually have a guided audio companion to go with it too, with us talking through each of the planets and how to use it, because we understand it's a new system. We want you to you got to adopt it and then become.
But literally supercouple.com, we somehow snagged that URL.
How did you do that?
We paid a little
cash, but still it was part. I know. Can you believe it?
Wow.
So you can buy the book there, right? And just go to that's probably the best place to get it if you want to just have a more immersive experience with it.
And I think that's necessary with something like this to really let it land. Amazing. And then also Cosmic Love on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
So fun. I just love... Yeah, I love, and I know nothing about your process in creating it, but I loved thinking about it and watching it because I could kind of see you two behind the scenes. Like, I hope you had a lot of creative power. I have no idea how it works.
We did exactly what an extended version of what we did when we read your charts here. We looked at the composite, we looked at the synastry, we looked at the people that were cast from the tapes we had gone
It was fun.
through.
We got to live in Malibu right on the PCH for like 6 weeks. And so we had this giant wall that was filled with like charts, but we had already started tuning into everyone before the show and wrote their names under a crystal, and it was so much like
it was a fascinating experiment. A lot of friendships surfaced. Nobody stayed together, but I believe that was because it wasn't really set up to facilitate.
Totally.
Like, great, you matched, but there's a lot of work that has to be done.
They weren't in that season necessarily either. So
no pre-Saturn return.
That's youth is wasted on the young. Not. Yeah.
Great. They looked young and hot on camera, and they were completely the wrong age for a super couple relationship. But
interesting.
And the perfect age to get married on TV in 3 weeks or whatever.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, it's wild, but it was cool. I'm always so excited to see these more spiritual concepts or modalities brought into the mainstream.
Love that too.
It's cool to see because I know it's going to be happening more and more and more. It's not just going to live on Gaia. Like, we're going to bring
exactly
a little bit more.
No, on all the reality dating shows, they have conversations about their signs now, and it's like, yay, cool. I love it. Yeah. Use the tools, whatever you can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, this was a blast.
So
love you both. I appreciate you making the time, and I'm excited for our audience to get super couple, dig into the show, and looking forward to 2023 too. Thank you for sharing that. It's always nice to go into parts of the year where you can kind of anticipate and not feel like bombarded by life happening to you. So
the focus really is on relationships as we go forward, and that's the new currency, I think, of the age of Aquarius, and that's what's going to keep us feeling secure.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Ophie and Tali, the AstroTwins. The book is Supercouple. You can get it anywhere books are sold now, and their website is astrostyle.com.
Almost30.com. Almost 30 podcasts on Instagram. We're kind of popping off. There's been a lot of reels that have hit the millies lately and just are sparking a lot of conversation within our community, which is so much fun. And then TikTok. Our TikTok has been a place where we share interesting insights and nuggets from the show. So it's like a great dose of positivity when you're scrolling on TikTok. And then I can be found on Instagram at It's Krista. So it's ITSKRISTA.
And I'm at Lindsay Simcik, SIMCIK.
We love you guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.